What's going on, guys? This is your boy RBG hitting you up with a DBZ related video regarding the newly announced game Dragon Ball Game Project Z. A title that I'm pretty sure is a placeholder. It's probably likely the name will change to something more specific like DBZ Full Key Burst or something of that nature. You get my drift. But anyways, there have been rumors going around that Namco Bandai would be hiring CyberConnect 2 to work on a new Dragon Ball Z game based on scans from the V-Jump magazine. And those rumors turned out to be true, so we're going to talk about it. But before we get into the gist of this topic, I want to remind you that this video is sponsored by Goku Gamer. Since you guys have supported this channel, I have linked up with Goku Gamer to give you their free gaming mouse. It features a high FPS rate, 7 different switches such as the back and forward button, an adjustable DPI, micro switches backed with LED lights, and much more. To top things off, we're also throwing in a brand new super bass earbuds which you can order in either black or white. The shipping and handling averages around $5 depending on your location. The link will be in the description box below, so make sure you jump on it while the offer still lasts. But getting back on the topic at hand, about a week ago, Namco Bandai pretty much confirmed that they do in fact have a new Dragon Ball Z game on the way. And it's being developed by one of their go-to collaborators, CyberConnect 2. Now, I think this is something that's been a long time coming for DBZ gaming enthusiasts because CC2 is one of those teams that have a keen eye for making some of the best eye-popping games, especially titles that are based off of a popular shonen anime. They just have that X factor when it comes to those types of games, and it was smart of Namco Bandai to get them on this project. It's like remembering the girl who got them to the dance, or the girl who introduced them to a huge audience of Naruto fans. Besides their signature titles like the Dot Hack series, they've become widely known for the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games, a series that gradually evolved from a 2D fighter to a fully 3D fighter with adventure elements and cinematic cutscenes. The Ultimate Ninja games have undoubtedly become one of Namco's franchise juggernauts, launching multiple games from the PS2 era all the way to the current generation. We're talking over 15 titles including spin-offs. And all of them, including the Storm series, have offered up instances of awe as we watch our favorite moments from the manga translate to cel-shaded chaos. And it was dope. It was something we wish they would do with the Dragon Ball games. A few years back, I made a video giving theories on how CyberConnect 2 could possibly been working on a DBZ game, and that video amassed a lot of views and a great conversation started with the community, with some giving their ideas on what the game would entail. Now granted, it was a piss poor upload, but I stressed that I thought it would be a great game if CC2 was manning the development helm. Some of the things we would like to see are the obvious destructible environments, and maybe they can borrow things from other games like Infinite World since it had a lot of cool mini games, something within that nature. You know, things that weren't quite refined in earlier Dragon Ball titles but could be polished to great detail by CC2. Now notice how I said earlier DBZ titles because that's something that's long since been addressed. Gone are the days of wishing for a Dragon Ball Z game that resembles the anime and all its iconic moments. We've had that for a while with games like Burst Lemon, the Xenoverse series, and the newly introduced Fighter Z, which has been killing it in the FGC. If anything, I can say that Dragon Ball Z is just one of those animes that has a lot of potential when it comes to showing how dynamic its gameplay elements can be. It can be a hyper-stylized action beat-em-up or an in-depth fighter. One of the things I don't think they've really tackled to the fullest is a full-on RPG. We've seen it done in small doses with games like the Legacy of Goku series, but that wasn't really a huge-scaled ARPG. More of a condensed action RPG version that was limited by hardware. And that was a pretty awesome game that just so happened to be made by a Western development team. Now, while this new announcement of CC2 working on an action RPG DBZ game excites me, it does raise a few concerns. Like most DBZ titles, this particular game looks to cover a good majority of the Dragon Ball Z chronology, saying that players will experience the story through the eyes of Kakarot, the Saiyan better known as Goku. The publisher promises an unforgettable adventure with over-the-top battles and challenging quests to create lifelong friendships and a crusade to protect Earth from fearsome villains. While I don't mind seeing some of my favorite moments from DBZ executed with fresher gameplay elements, it is going to be a bit daunting replaying stories from the Saiyan, Frieza, and Android sagas over, because they've pretty much been done to death. Based on the visuals we've seen in the trailer, that seems to be what the gist of the game's adventure mode entails. But on the bright side, CyberConnect 2 can make certain instances like Goku and Vegeta's classic beam struggle look more beautiful than it's ever been before. They managed to recreate certain moments from the Naruto manga that were somehow executed better than the anime, which is insane when you think about it, because Naruto's animation team is one of the best in the anime industry. But as I was saying, if we're going back to the beginning sagas of Dragon Ball, then I don't know how entertaining it will be retreading instances that we've been seeing since the Budokai games. That just seems like a no-go for modern DBZ games that have sort of gone in their own direction. Some of the newer entries like Xenoverse have either taken pre-existing storylines and combined them with newer themes like Dragon Ball Online and DB Heroes, and that seems to be the new standard because there's so much you can do with newer characters like Toa, Mira, and other villains like Cumber. Considering the fact that Bandai Japan doesn't necessarily like to share Heroes games, that's the only time we get a taste of some of those crazy concepts when they put them into games like Xenoverse. Now granted, it's still too early to know just how much of Goku's story will be covered. One thing CyberConnect 2 could do is go back to the very beginning and cover the earlier arcs of Dragon Ball with Goku through his childhood. That would be super dope because we don't really get that many games tailored around the very beginning of Goku's adventures. I think one of the last major Dragon Ball games we got was Revenge of Piccolo. So yeah, give us the story from the beginning of Dragon Ball. Like, how cool would it be to try and master some of the most iconic moves like the Kamehameha wave, and who doesn't want to grind to achieve the Super Saiyan transformation? These are some of the things they need to start off with, or at least if they're not going to tell the complete story, they can jump into some of the other concepts like Heroes. Another thing I'm a bit apprehensive about is if CC2 will include their signature QuickTime events. The Ultimate Ninja games are known for their epic QTEs, but they can get a bit daunting, at least in my opinion. I would rather the QTEs take a backseat in this game since it's going to be an action RPG. Like, they've been played to death. When I played Asura's Wrath, it felt like a more action-based Ultimate Ninja Storm game because it was riddled with QuickTime events, not to mention the fact that the sound effects and music were very similar. So if they want to separate this game from the Storm series, it's mandatory that they keep QTEs as far away from it as possible. Just give us the epic cinematics and we'll be good. And one last concern that I have is how expansive the world will be and how creative they will get. We've seen CyberConnect 2 sort of inject some of those action RPG elements into the Storm games, but running around the Konoha village and all these other Naruto landmarks weren't that exciting. While it was cool that they were trying to tackle some of those explorative elements, it was kinda boring. Doing fetch quests and getting from point A to B felt really hollow, so they need to do something and really try to go all out with this. But anyways, I think we'll be hearing more about Project Z in the coming weeks or so. I think it's safe to assume that the game is midway through development because if I'm not mistaken, CC2 was originally involved with the Final Fantasy VII Remake, but for whatever reason Square Enix decided to drop them from the project, so it's safe to say that they've been working on Project Z for at least a year or so. The graphics and shading look really good on the character models and the environments look very visually pleasing. We just need more of the sagas beside the standard ones we usually get. Maybe give us newer ones like Dragon Ball Super or even cover the latest retelling of Brawly. I could go on, but I think you guys get my point. This looks to be a promising entry in the DBZ gaming library, so the hype is very much warranted. But anyways, I want to know what you think. Do you think CyberConnect 2 should cover more arcs like the original Dragon Ball series? And do you think they should include QuickTime events? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, I ask that you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. Any feedback is good feedback and will only help me improve on my channel. But if you really enjoyed the video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it on social media outlets with all your friends and followers. Sharing really makes a difference. But this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.